Welcome to Delta Cast Tutorials. Today I'll be applying a long arm cast, and the position the patient will be in is about neutral to 20 degrees of extension. That's, of course, provider may want something different, but unless otherwise noted, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to have the elbow in 90 degrees of flexion without any supination or pronation. And we're going to ensure that the patient is not ulnar or radial deviated for this application. The injury itself was going to be concentrated in the wrist, maybe mid forearm, maybe both bone forearm fracture, scoliosis fracture. It could be also some type of very bad ligament injury. But the point is that we're going to mobilize this patient where we don't want any extension or rotation of the wrist. So with that being said, we're going to apply some stockinette, some particular padding, and we're going to use Delta Cast Elite cast tape. This is a polyester cast tape. It's going to have a little bit more elasticity to it, so you can go around some of the areas of the anatomy that needs to conform just a little bit better. And we're going to add a little bit of adhesive foam to the bony prominences on an area that's a little bit more raised up, that needs a little bit more coverage. We want to have the stockinette at least past the PIP joints, or the first flexion portion of the index finger and the fingers itself. Put this all the way up the arm, and all this extra wrinkles and such, we gotta cut those out so we don't have any irritation. But I'm going to go ahead and make a little hole for the thumb. Pull that away from the patient so they can see what I'm doing, that I noticed their particular appendage there. And now let's go ahead and take care of this portion. So you got two choices. You can just cut it out or make a little slit in it and then fold it on itself. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it all out, this excess stockinette. Next, I'll just go ahead and apply some stockinette on the thumb. And what I'll do is just, in a simple way, just go ahead and add a little double ply there, put a little slit in between those layers, and the slit will be towards the index finger. Now you can use a 1-inch or you can use a 2-inch. That's going to be preference. And what I like to do also at the proximal portions of the cast, I like to have this folded down just a little bit. So when I do fold it down and envelope the cast inside with the padding and such, it's going to be a nice thicker edge. And you could do the same thing up here. So let's add some padding to the patient. So I'll start at the wrist and then work my way up to the hand, and then follow the whole forearm and the upper arm. And then I'll make sure just before I apply this over this area, I'll make sure the patient is repositioned correctly, and then I'll do a figure 8 going around the elbow. Now I got it covered up, but now I need to do is just check it over, because this is the long arm cast. There's a lot of stuff you can miss. So I check it over to make sure there's no thin spots. Make sure this area is not too thin, which it looks like that to me. So I'll apply some more padding. And then I'll palpate over the wrist area, especially around the ulnar styloid. Just make sure that's padded well. And if I feel like I already put enough padding all around circumferentially, I can just go ahead and add some adhesive foam to those bony prominences without making it extra thick totally circumferentially. Let me put our padding just a little bit higher because I want my cast to stop here. All right, reposition the patient. Make sure my exposure is going to look good when I pull that out open. And just put a little bit more around the hand. That's the biggest irritation for most patients. You can fold this lengthwise. Put that around the hand if you want to. That's just a preference you can do. So when I pull this down, of course, my cast will not go that high, but I will make sure that I have a nice little turtleneck, if you will, edge here. Okay, so I got the arm padded all up. Of course, the patient will be either being assisted, someone's holding the patient's arm, what have you. But if you're working by yourself, now you have an advantage. We're going to use this. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply a little bit on the upper arm, and then I'll transfer and have the patient hold the foot stand. And what I did is put some padding around the edge of it so a little bit more comfortable and easy to grip. All right, you can open your hand there. So I'll do what we call a little J cut going around the web space and make sure that's small enough where it doesn't interfere with the opposition of the index finger and thumb. And do it again. And you can bend your fingers for me. And what that does is lets me know where the cast is to stop. I'm trying to have at least 1/4 of an inch of the metacarpal heads exposed. Any lower than it's going to allow for a lot of movement of the wrist. And now we have this patient in position where we don't have to worry about the patient rotating their hand. And then I'll finish it off. And what I'll do is just position this patient where their hand is in just a little bit more. Now, it's important that we can have enough space to go through there. Do a figure 8 going around the elbow. Now, the reason I'm trying to do this all in one step is some clinicians do not like you to just do a short arm and extend it because they may feel like this portion is weak in some areas because you had to stop and it maybe didn't laminate well. Okay, you want to rub up and down. All right, so now I'm just doing an interosseous mold, making a flattened appearance on the dorsal and volar aspect of the cast. If the patient is coherent, you do want to give the patient a heads up and put a little bit of pressure on your forearm so they won't be alarmed. And if you're doing this, sometimes the patient will try to move their arm afterwards because they're like, oh my gosh, it feels so snug. And that's what you're trying to prevent. Another thing is I'm taking a little bit of space out of the palmar area. So that's why I'm grabbing the top of the patient's hand like this to take away all that space in there. So I'm just doing the mold above the elbow. And what this does is as the patient atrophies, we won't have a cast that's wobbly inside of there. I'm going to cover this edge and then work my way down. The more weaker spots of the cast is going to be here or there. So make sure you laminate well on the ulnar aspect and just posterior there. All right, so again, we're going to go ahead and go through that web space. So I'm just do a little J cut here and get those little fish bones or sharp edges that will irritate the patient. Get that out the way. So with that, I'm just finishing this last little part or the cosmetic and layer portion, and then I'm done. So finishing, you make sure that you concentrate on ensuring that the edges that you made that's padded, you don't go further than what you already established, making the padding edges that you established non-existent. So now what I'll do is just put a little bit of pressure there just to make sure I contour that inside of the hand, line up the fingers, if you will, the hand portion. So I'll just go ahead and just laminate that area. Laminate here, laminate there. You don't want the cast cracking with the patient because you have no idea what the patient may be doing when they leave. And I just want you to look at something here and straighten your fingers up just a little bit. We don't have a whole bunch of space in there, and that's important that you shouldn't be able to just drop your finger in that area because what happens is the cast is going to break down as time goes by. You don't want the patient doing like this. Okay, so what I just completed is a long arm cast. Make sure the patient was in 90 degrees. Make sure that I have to stop my cast at the distal palmar crease. Good range of motion for that thumb. Make sure the metacarpal heads are exposed at least 1/4 inch. We don't want it too low, hanging down off the patient, because then they can start to rock their hand back and forth. Second, we did an interosseous mold here, a flattened appearance, so the dorsal and volar aspect, and then also a mold up in the upper arm. So as atrophy occurs, especially in the upper arm muscles, you don't want a whole bunch of movement. I used a little cheater, which is the foot stand, put some padding on it so they can hold their position and keep their arm at 90 degrees, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So much easier to do it as assistant, but again, that's not always possible. Again, that was the long arm cast. Thank you very much. If you need any additional support or training regarding DeltaCast products, contact your local rep or look for us on www.essity.com.